Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vince Schuster from MediaStar Systems. We welcome you to the MediaStar and Media Vision webinar that will last for approximately 1 hour. I wanted to go ahead and just introduce the rest of the team from MediaStar, and I'll hand it off to Patrick afterwards to introduce Media Vision. So Chad Potenzone, if you'd like to raise your hand a moment, thank you very much. And also Mitch Klein. If you'd raise your hand, thank you. So Chad is our head of technical and logistics for the Americas, and Mitch Klein is our regional sales manager. From my side, I'm the team leader for the Americas, and if it's okay, I'm going to pass it off to Patrick at Media Vision to introduce his team.
Sounds good, thank you. My name is Patrick Herlihy. I'm the Vice President of System Solutions for Media Vision. I also cover the Southeast region, the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast regions. On the screen to my right is Mr. Chima Gale, who covers the Northeast and the Ontario, Canada region. To his right is Leah Warren, who is our inside sales specialist. And down below me here, as I'm viewing it, is Marcus Subject, who covers our Western region.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And again, we appreciate the opportunity to co-host this webinar with our friends there at Media Vision. Chad, if you'd like, if you could turn on your screen, I'll just ask everyone if they would please turn off their cameras, and that will allow for everyone to focus on the presentations. Thank you very much, everyone. Oops.
Sure, thanks, Vince. So as Vince mentioned, my name is Chad Potenzone. I am the Technical Support and Operations Manager for the Americas for MediaStar Systems. Just a little bit about, who is MediaStar, what we do. As you can see here, we design and manufacture both a hardware and software system that delivers highly secure IPTV, corporate communications, digital signage, video on demand, and even mobile streaming across, a local area network, wide area network, VPN, or even over the public internet. Basically, the system is centrally managed by our Media Manager software. It's what really kind of sets us apart from a lot of our competition. We have a lot of third-party integration with whether it be control systems, wayfinding solutions, or really any HTML content. We have an extensive portfolio of financial, corporate, education, government, and even military clients. A little bit of history about MediaStar. So some of you might know us as Cable Time. That was the original company name. We've been in business over 35 years now. Our product line was always MediaStar. So a lot of our clients actually kind of knew us as like the MediaStar system. So we actually just rebranded in early 2020 to MediaStar Systems. We're actually headquartered in the UK. We have a US office out of New Jersey, and then an office in Hong Kong as well. All of our products are designed and built in the UK. So a lot of government clients, we have that TAA and BAA compliance with that. Here, I'm just going to kind of, go over a simple overview of the system. This is going to be the last PowerPoint slide because, I hate PowerPoint just as much as you guys. Here, you can actually see on the right here, we have our system inputs. Basically, what our equipment does is we can take in a wide variety of different inputs and then push those as multicast streams across the network. Okay, so multicast is really key because it's very low impact on the network. If you have, one stream going out there, whether it's 20 output devices it's going to or 1,000, it still only takes up the bandwidth of that one stream, which is really key. As far as some of the sources that we can take in, the output of a cable box, satellite, terrestrial, video conferencing system, any camera, basically anything with an audio video output, we can put into one of our digital processing blades and our head end, and then push that across the network. Once that stream gets onto the network, we can be pushed out to video walls. We have media players that typically get, installed behind the display. We also have the capability to pull up a software player right on a PC or Mac, or even stream out to portable devices. One thing that's actually very important about this slide, you can see on the left in bold here, is we actually have an official HDCP 2.2 Pro license. Now this is actually becoming, really important in today's environment because, cable boxes, if you want to get IPTV out of a cable box, nowadays it's only an HDMI output. There's no other component or analog outputs. So with the HDMI, it actually brings HDCP into the factor. With our system, we can illegally take that content and then stream that to an unlimited number of displays across the local network. If you tried with any other type of encoder, the stream will actually shut down because it thinks it's trying to copy the content. Also with the system here, we have a few different servers. We have our Media Manager server. That's our control software. Typically, that's going to be installed on a VM somewhere on the corporate network. You can also be put on a physical server as well. But the great thing about Media Manager is it's a central management tool. So there's one server that can control your entire global network of MediaStar equipment. We have some clients that have a single server here in New Jersey and have 90 offices in like 90 countries around the world, and that's all being controlled from one server. And with that server, we can then create different levels of admin. So people in New York, when they log into the software, that's all they see is the endpoints in New York. San Francisco, same thing. A little bit. So with the Media Manager, that's where we kind of control all of our content, whether it be live streams, digital signage, any kind of corporate communication. And I'm actually going to kind of get into that right now. So I'll show you a little bit of the software.
Chad, excuse me, this question that relates to the content for corporate communications. You mentioned
Sure.
HTTP. Is it possible for us to have, in other words, this is a question, if the company or corporation or entity is able to have their own content and go across the network?
Of course, yeah. So HDCP only really is going to come into play when you have like a cable box, a Blu-ray player, something, and it basically puts HDCP onto the output of that device. If you have any of your internal content, whether that's coming from a camera, PC, that's not going to have HDCP on it. So you can just use, one of our standard encoders, and you can push that across your entire network.
Thank you, Chad.
You're welcome. So here, I just kind of want to show you the software a little bit because this is what really ties everything together. You can see the software is really kind of, broken up into two main areas. We have our workspace, which is this world map here. And then on the left, we kind of have our navigation pane. First thing you see here is our output devices. If I expand this, we basically have two output device types. We have our endpoints, which is our physical media players. And then we have what we call our media portals, which is our software application. Again, if I just kind of, you can see here, it's very much like a Windows file structure. Right here, I have a demo just set up for a university. I can have the main university group. Within there, I can have the different halls, the library. And again, I can expand out through there, different floors, and then we can get down to the actual endpoints. One thing that's nice about the workspace here is this is completely customizable. So, some people kind of like this layout, they can see everything. Some people like a little bit more visual of like where things actually are on their campus or in their environment. So if I go here, I can actually, change backgrounds of all these workspaces. So here I have an entire campus map. We have, number 15 here is the Walsh Library here. If I wanted to double click that, brings me to another workspace where now we can actually put floor plans in here and we can actually pin endpoints to certain locations within here. If I wanted to go back to the whole campus map, I can just do that. If I wanted to go to President's Hall here, again, we can put those floor plans in and we can put these endpoints exactly where they are. So here I can see, this is in the conference room here. If I was to double click that, it opens up that endpoint within the software. And then this kind of tells me what's going on on the endpoint right now. So current media here, this is a channel lineup. If I was to double click that, I can open this up on the screen. And you can see here, again, this is all, completely customizable. We can put, whatever background image we want. We can change logos here. All of these icon images are customizable as well. Now, one nice thing about our media players is they're not just IPTV streaming. They come standard with 16 gigs of solid state onboard memory. So not only can you, do all of your IP streaming, you can store files on there. Say you had training videos, if this was in a conference room, or if you just wanted to put, some movies, commercials, anything you want, you can put onto the box, and then that will actually play right from local storage. So technically, each media player itself is its own video on demand box. And any content that's stored locally, you have the ability to pause, fast forward, rewind as well. Changing stuff is very simple. If I wanted to add a file here or a stream, I can simply go to one of my media sources. I just simply drag, drop right onto there. And now you'll notice, like when I made a change to this channel lineup, it actually turned green in our system. That's our way of letting you know, hey, something in the current media has changed, but it hasn't been pushed out to the endpoint yet. Okay. We also have the ability to add an on-off schedule. So all of our devices have RS-232 ports, so we can, turn on and off displays automatically. We also do CEC controls right over the HDMI cable, so we can control most displays right through HDMI. We also have the ability to add tickers, which is going to be your scrolling message across the screen. If I open this up here, you can see we can put custom text in here. We have the ability to add clocks, even RSS feeds. So we can point to, ESPN top headlines, and we can always have the latest headlines scrolling across the, it's basically overlaid on top of whatever's being displayed. Now, all of our devices have their own web portal built into them as well. I'm not going to go through all these settings. One thing I would like to show you is we have the ability to control the endpoints right from here. There's a few different ways we actually do control. We have our own IR remote. I don't know if you can see that here. We can also control the units right through this web player here. We can also even, push out mobile remotes to, portable devices, PCs, Macs as well, along with third-party control as well. Any kind of, control system we can integrate with and just have that control the endpoint itself. Now, another really nice feature, and now I'm working from home here, so I only have a couple endpoints on here. But one great thing about the system here is, if I had 50 endpoints in President's Hall here and I wanted to change content on all 50 of them, it's kind of painful to have to go to each endpoint individual, change the content. With the system here, instead of opening up the endpoint itself, if I was to actually open up President's Hall here, you can see I have both floors in here. Now, if I was to take a content here, say I just wanted to, push CBS to all of the endpoints. Basically, what this does is every single endpoint within here, it'll now push to CBS. And you can actually see over on the right, the actual endpoint itself switched over to CBS. So this is a very easy way to make, global changes with a few clicks of a button, instead of having to manage each endpoint individually. Now, the nice thing too is that the system is smart enough that if I was to go ahead and, remove this current media from the group, like it remembers what was previously on there. Okay, so if you had some kind of, town hall meeting that you wanted to get across, every screen in the building, you can easily do that and then go back to your own content with a couple clicks of the button. So here, if I just kind of update output devices with pending updates, basically saying anything that was green in the system that had a change, it's going to go push out that update. And now you're back to your, your standard channel lineup here. So that's kind of our endpoints. You can see here, it's, you can structure this any way you want. I also have here just a sample of a county government. So here we have like a map of the whole entire county, or you can even do, if it makes more sense, a departmental map. So now if I want to go to the sheriff's department, I can simply click on here, it pulls up a floor plan of the sheriff's department, and the same thing. So this can really be customized to fit your exact needs. As far as media portals, so that's our second output device type. We actually have our own media portal application. So if I pull this up here, so now this is IP streaming right to the desktop. This is becoming more and more popular. Like a lot of our clients used to just have a bunch of displays up all over the place, but then you can't hear the audio. You don't want it to be distracting. Now with this portal player, they can pull up and watch whatever they want at any time. So for example, if I just wanted to, see CBS here, I can add my audio. Now, the nice thing about this too, I can make this full screen here. I can resize this as well, so I can resize it right on the fly here. And another really nice feature of this is that I can actually create like a video wall type display right on my PC. So I'm not limited to just having one piece of content up there. So if I see here, just want to shut the audio here. So you can see here, I actually have, 4 different contents right up on my screen at once. And another nice thing about the system too is that if I was to exit this application, and I get back into it, we can actually save those layouts. So the system remembers exactly, where the window was, what the channel was on. So it's a nice way to actually, see multiple things all at once. Here, I'm just going to kind of close down a couple of these windows here. Another nice thing about our system is that, it's really designed to show in a webinar like this. So here's actually some digital signage content that I created in our MediaStar Creator, our content creation software. Here we have the ability to, put in multiple video windows. We can have, crawls, whether it's weather widgets, clocks. This is, if you need a little bit more out of your signage than your typical PowerPoint type stuff, we also have this content creation software that you can do stuff like this. Now this right here is the actual output of one of my media players going into one of our portable encoders and creating the stream. So if I was to take my IR remote here, I can actually go to the menu, and you can see, again, this is like that customized feel. So, this is exactly as if this was up on a display, like in a building. If you go to the menu, you can see that the logo is customized, the background's customized. And then if I wanted to, I can, simply change channels right from here. Now, if you didn't have an IR remote, there's, again, a few different ways that we can actually can control content. We can even make what we call a mobile reference list, which is like an online remote control. Here I have one for all of President's Hall. So right now there's 2 endpoints in here. So if I was to click on one, I can actually go through and I can change the channel. And you can see it, changing on the background on the media player. Okay, so that's just a few different ways to, kind of control the system here. Exit, let's get back into Media Manager. So that's kind of our endpoints. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Question starts off very cool. How much time do you think it takes to? How much time do you think it takes to do a layout like you showed with? They said on the Adidas one, as an example.
Honestly, like once you have a template built, it's very simple with the content creation software. Like everything in that we do, we try to make as easy as possible. Like I think the Adidas one or the Nike one that you saw there probably took about a half hour. The hardest thing is really getting content. You know, once you have a background image, a template there, it's really as simple as, you know, clicking on our video button. We can import a video, just resize it to exactly where you want. Same thing with the pictures. We can just grab, you know, image files, select however many images we want, and it basically creates like a small PowerPoint, you know, as part of the layout. And from there, we can just simply choose, you know, whatever kind of transition, timings, stuff like that.
Great, thank you.
Source devices, you know, we make a variety of different input blades, kind of like what I talked about before. One thing I do want to show you real quick, which is a really neat product, is our Lancaster. If I pull this up here, now this single Lancaster, this single blade, you know, can basically take the place of almost an entire rack of, you know, IPTV equipment. This right here is an ATSC Quam multi-tuner. The really nice thing about this is it has 5 tuners built right into this single blade, and each tuner can output an unrestricted number of TV channels. So if I go here to my tuner 1 here, you know, so this is actually from a Verizon Fios feed. So there's basically a bunch of frequencies in here. You know, we can tune into a particular frequency, and now you can see here, this actually has 5 HD channels on this single frequency. Now this I have the capability of pulling in every single channel from this single tuner. I'm working on a small unmanaged switch here, so I don't want to flood the network here, but if I go to tuner 2, you can see here, this one actually has the 4 HD channels right on there. So right there, two tuners, I have the ability to output 9 channels. Now, most of the time, like, you don't get that many. Like, a lot of cable providers will put 2 channels on a frequency. If you wanted to get off-air content, you know, you can get upwards to 20 channels from a single blade, which is, you know, really, really nice. As opposed to, you know, 3 chassis, 20-something encoders, and, you know, 20 cable boxes with cables all over the place. You have a real neat, concise solution for an entire IPTV head end. I know we're getting a little tight on time here. Just a few other things I want to show you about the software. We have the ability to create, you know, playlists. So basically getting the right content to the right audience at the right time. If I wanted to create a playlist here, we have a few different varieties of playlists. We have, you know, a relative, which can basically be any amount of time. We have a daily playlist that basically says, you know, here's a 24-hour window. You know, we can fill it to the exact needs. We can do weekly, or even, you know, create content for up to a year in advance. Just to show you how easy it is, you know, to use the software. Again, everything that we do is drag and drop. If I go to my media sources here, we have a built-in monitor off command. So I can simply drag that in, pull this down, say I want to turn the display on at 6 a.m. Okay, if I wanted to, you know, force them to watch, you know, CBS, I can simply drag that in, say I want to watch CBS till 9 a.m. Come on. Okay. Then if you want, you can say, you know what, I now want to give them the ability to change channels. I can add a channel lineup in there, and all the way up until 3 here. So sometimes if it gets stuck, we can manually enter in the exact time. So now from here, I'm actually giving them the ability to, you know, change channels. They can watch whatever they want. You know, then we can go back to, you know, let's just say, grab another channel here. We want to put NBC in there. And then we can just throw a monitor off. Now we have a complete daily playlist of exactly what we want to be shown at the exact times. Now we can do this with digital signage as well. You know, it doesn't have to be live streams. That's the beauty of the system. You can really mix and match anything you want. You're not stuck with, you know, only IPTV or only digital signage. You can have digital signage going, incorporate IPTV, go back to signage, and really whatever you want. Also, another very powerful tool of, Media Manager and our endpoints is jump configurations. This is really the ability to interact with emergency response systems. So say there was a fire in the building. We have controls. Our players are actually listening in, so we can, if the fire alarm goes off, because each of our endpoints have that local storage on it, we can put customized content. So it can even pull up a map saying, you are here, closest exit is that way. Then we also have the ability to, once the fire alarm is over, it can go back to its default content. Now that can be done automatically, like you would in an emergency, or we can create what we call these jump lists here. And we can do manual push buttons. Now it's not just for emergencies. I actually have this nurse call codes for a nursing station. If there's a specific code on the floor, they can simply press a button. All the displays on that floor will show that specific code. Then once that code's done, they can simply click default and go back to their regular signage content. So there's many different applications in that. I'm kind of running out of time here. I mean, I can go on for hours just to kind of explain the basic functionality of the system. But one more thing, the last thing I have time to show you here is the ability to create what we call local admins here. So local admins really come into play when you have an enterprise level, when you have multiple different offices here. So as a system administrator, I can simply go here, I can create a local admin. And if I only want them to be able to see, endpoints in President's Hall, I can simply drop them into this local admin. If I only want them to be able to see certain streams, maybe CBS and NYW, I can do that. Now, if I open up this version of our Media Manager software, you can actually see in my output devices, my endpoints, I only have access to whatever the system administrator gave me access to. So this is great when you have, again, like when you have different buildings. I mean, you can break it down into different floors if people are administering different floors, or even say you had, a human resources department that had 3 dedicated screens in, 50 offices around the world. We can create an admin level that they only have access to those screens, and with a couple clicks of a button, they can update their content across their entire global network. And that is a very brief introduction to the Media Manager software. I'm going to now hand it over to Patrick.
So Chad, thank you very much. And we just encourage the audience to keep asking questions, and we'll try and prompt those during the presentation by Media Vision as well. Thanks again, Chad. Well done.
Okay, let me know if you can see that screen.
Yes,
we see your screen,
Patrick.
Very good. Well, Chad, thank you very much for the introduction. Again, Patrick Herlihy with Media Vision. Our team is going to quickly present for you today a very brief overview of the products and our key solutions that we provide. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand off to our inside sales specialist, Leah Warren, who's going to lead us off.
Thanks, Patrick. Like Patrick said, I'm Leah Warren, the inside sales for Media Vision. So just quickly about Media Vision and who we are. We're the sole distributors for Titan products in North America and most of Europe. And we've been doing this for about 20 years, and it's really our focus is conference systems. We're not going to be dropping lines or moving into other areas. We're really just focused on great conference systems. And that local and global presence and support can be found all over the US and in Europe as well. So what we really like to focus on is making sure that the audio quality is really excellent. We want to improve that clarity and intelligibility so you can hear anyone anywhere in the room and know exactly what they're saying, which is great for rooms with line of sight issues. And we want to make sure that it's really easy to use for anyone. make sure it's user-friendly, especially our wireless microphones. And it's really important for us to also add in all-in-one technology for hybrid meetings, since we're having a lot of those as people start to come back into the office slowly, and some people are still working from home. So right here we have two of our wired options. We can do flush mount and we can do tabletop, and we also have options for voting or non-voting. This is our wireless option. It's actually one of our top sellers, and we can do that with voting and non-voting as well. Titan was actually the first manufacturer to put a capacitive touchscreen and a video camera inside of a conference mic. We're always innovating. So this right here is our video microphones, and we can do those with the capacitive touchscreen, the tactile buttons, and we can do those with voting and non-voting as well. So why MediaVision specifically? We honor the 5-year manufacturer's warranty on top of adding our own SLA for any technical support that you might have along the way. Innovative technology, like I said, Titan's always trying to think of how we can improve the space and improve the conferencing experience. Project protection, if your bid goes out, if your project goes out to bid, we'll offer a project protection discount and try to make sure you keep the business that you brought into us. And reliable service and support. We want to be there for you every step of the way and make sure that you're always getting quality support to make sure your conferencing system is operating the way we know it should. So these are a few of the places that we do what we do. As you can see, it's multiple different verticals. We have government with the United Nations, DC government, USPTO, but we also do corporate like Boeing or the Washington Post, or even education with Johns Hopkins. So it's really not just one vertical. It's not just corporate boardrooms. You can use these conferencing systems all over the place for many different needs. And thinking about those needs and the problems that we do solve, multi-purpose divisible rooms, rooms with line of sight issues, Deus Chambers, and large rooms with audio quality issues are all our core solution categories. And my colleagues are going to get into that in just a moment. And actually, on that note, I will pass it off to Chima Gale.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. So as Leah mentioned, I'm Chima Gale. I'm responsible for the Northeast region of the MediaVision territories. That includes the Ohio Valley and into the greater Toronto area. So what I'm going to introduce to you guys today is our best-selling product, which is our wireless solution. So what you'll see, and one of the reasons why our wireless solution is one of the best-selling solutions that we have, is because wireless conference systems are a perfect solution for all meeting facilities, generally speaking, and you know, that meeting spaces that require feature-rich, flexible, and aesthetic technology. And you know, as Leah mentioned, and you'll hear from my other team members, is that perfect audio intelligibility is our bread and butter. So I'll go over a couple of projects that we have, we've done, and we've participated in. So what you see here is a typical law firm with a multi-purpose divisible room. Like these spaces typically have air walls and rolling tables that are reconfigurable. Another type of project that you might see us in, or you might be able to utilize us in as an integrator, is you know, spaces that are combinable, so that you know, maybe 2, 3, 4 spaces that may come together to create you know, one large space. So this project here is actually DC Roundtable, Business Roundtable in DC. And with this particular project, we're able to give them the ability to do, just as I said, take one large space, separate it out, or bring it back together. And you do that, you know, via your control system, which I'll touch on in a few. Other type of spaces that you might be able to utilize us in are that VTC type of spaces, or in heritage type of sites. So I'm sure, as integrators, you've probably been in a position before where you walk into a retrofit application and you cannot get wires to the table, or you're not allowed to cut into the table. These are two such applications. So on the left-hand side, on the left-hand side, you have Boston Children's Hospital, and then on the right-hand side, you have Johns Hopkins. And so, on the right, where this is a heritage site, you basically are preserving the integrity of the historic space and the meeting space. And then on the left, simply not being able to get wires out to the table is obviously a huge deal for you guys. And sometimes, it could be a deal breaker. Utilizing our wireless solution, you don't have to worry about that aspect of things. So here's the solution. Essentially, this is the bread and butter of us. This is the core of us. It's that microphone unit that Leah talked about initially, with the push to talk and maybe voting capabilities if you need that. But then you have, going out to the ceiling, you've got our transceivers, which is going to be a digital infrared transceivers that are connected via our proprietary wire to our main unit. Our main units come in a couple different flavors, but they, our highest end main unit is, has Dante capability in it as well. And then you'll see, our delegate unit. So essentially, the transceivers communicate down to the microphone units. We call them delegates or chairmans. And that's how the infrared signal is kind of passed around. So I touched earlier on that business roundtable project where a large space was now needed to be separated or to be combined. And so this is an example of how we're able to do our room combining. We have a room combiner essentially, and that room combiner unit, we can go up to 4 spaces if need be. And all that needs to happen is that an RS-232 string needs to be sent from your control system, whether that be AMX or, if anybody's still using that, or Crestron, or any other type of control system that has the ability to send out those 232 strings. So essentially, like I said, you're now taking those strings and you're separating out conference room A, conference room B, and or you're combining them into one large space. One of the other beautiful things about our systems is that with the combining, it's not only segregated to our wireless, it's also in our wired products as well. So just some value points for you guys to consider. I know I kind of went through things pretty fast. I'm certain we'll be able to pass out communication after this, but some value points for you to consider. RF interference. One of the things that we're most proud about with this particular product line is the fact that you're not going to receive RF interference from this particular product. It's going to be secure, especially being that you cannot. The signal can't go through walls or pass through, and so that's a beautiful thing for us and for you guys, especially when you have certain projects that require it. It does bring about a simplified user experience, and so projects where you do have adjacent rooms, you can certainly take our microphone from one room to the next and not have to do frequency management or microphone labeling or anything like that. As long as you take it to the next adjacent room and power it on, and it's ready to go. The other thing about it is quick charge. So it's 2 hours to charge. So a facilities manager, operations manager, AV manager can certainly start the meeting prep and be ready to have these things charged by the time the meeting is ready to go. So you've got that 2 hour to fully charge time. The other thing about it is that long talk times. So we've got 30 hours in conference mode and 10 hours in open mic mode, which is very key when you have some of the meetings that do run long. When the battery is fully charged, the other beautiful thing about it is it does trickle charge, and so you won't have that ability to overcharge the battery. And you know, the battery does not need to come out of the unit at all. It you put it as you see in the cart. You put the whole cart to charge it, and you know, it'll charge in that fashion. Other options that we have: automatic video tracking, audio recording, voting capabilities, microphone management capabilities via our software. And so lots of good stuff that happens within this particular suite of products that we have. We have some more suite of products. So I'm going to now pass that off to Marcus to take over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus Subcheck, and I cover the Western region for MediaVision. Essentially, the way I like to think of it is everywhere west of the Mississippi River, plus a few throw-in states. So today, I'm going to talk about two common problems that, you know, typical AV projects run into. The first one being these rooms with line of sight issues. So the picture that you're seeing right here is kind of the perfect example of a difficult room to outfit. You have this relatively small room with a big circular table. There's nowhere to really hang a display or put a confidence monitor or even put a camera to where everyone can be seen, captured by that camera. But with our multimedia terminals at each station, you kind of have an all-in-one solution. So you have not only your microphone and a speaker to hear, a device for voting, but you also have a personalized confidence monitor, and you have a built-in camera that can do video capture, and then that video capture can be sent out and put to outside virtual platforms. Going on, we have these large rooms with oblong tables, circular tables. This is actually the backup boardroom for the World Bank in Washington, D.C. And I actually worked at this space as an AV operator a couple of years ago. And what I found personally was whenever we used these devices on the tables, the participants were much more engaged in the meeting. Instead of having to roll their chairs around to see displays, they could just sit at the desk and have all of the content directly in front of them. These multimedia terminals also will connect to you know, a company's network. So you can have documents on your network, you can pull them, share them between, you know, all of the other devices as well as outside displays, which is perfect for these kind of corporate boardroom environments where there's a lot of document handling going along. Offers the ability to have a clean desk for everyone in front of them. And then if need be, we have the ability to make this a portable system. So this is all built on a category cable. It's a category cable based system. So what you're seeing here is actually a portable system where a member of their team would cart in Pelican cases, set up the system, and using the video capture, audio capture, sending that out to a virtual online platform. All they needed was a reliable internet source at whatever location they went up to. Additionally, they were using our e-ink nameplate. So whenever someone signed into the device, their name appeared. So let's just take a quick look at some of the options. So our most basic video microphone option is a 10-inch display. So it's a non-touch screen. It's just a passive monitor, but it's a personalized confidence monitor. And 10 inches is kind of the perfect size to fit in all the little cubbies and holes that you find in some generic applications. So the way it works is an SDI cable goes and daisy chains between devices, and then a separate cable takes care of the power, takes care of the audio, and all of the data. Going up is our multimedia terminals. These are our two options of our what we call our G3, our third generation. It's a 14-inch capacitive touchscreen with the ability to do all kinds of features, connect to the internet, do voting, manage microphones, all from the same device, and it comes in a gooseneck or an array mic. And then our newest terminal, this is what we find more for government applications. The G3, the sleeker design, we find success with corporate applications. But with the government, we have hard button votings, but still the 14-inch capacitive touchscreen, all the same features, all available on either device. So the next thing I'm going to touch on are the other kind of problem that we solve is the large room with audio quality issues. So things I want to point out is you're going to get the best audio quality if everyone in a meeting has a microphone, has the ability to choose when they are on record, essentially. This is an example of a law firm that we actually did a demo with, and after they heard the audio quality of our systems, decided to outfit all of their rooms with our systems. A few things I'll point out is that we offer parts and pieces microphones that can be worked into custom millwork, custom metal work, and we offer, kind of as I said, free demonstrations of our product if you have an application that you think that we might fit into. If you've heard of Media Vision, you know that we work with the United Nations. This is actually a picture of the United Nations headquarters in New York. And audio quality is an absolute must for the United Nations. With each of these devices, delegate names are assigned to each one. You can have simultaneous interpretation, your voting can be tracked, but most importantly, you can hear everyone regardless of if they're next to you or all the way across the room. Another application that this works with is kind of higher education. Universities where, especially as everyone's going virtual, we can have our microphones proc pan tilt zoom cameras. We can have students' names assigned to microphones and have their voting or polling information tracked. And additionally, you can do simultaneous interpretation if you're in a location that needs that. And then the last thing I will touch on as far as large rooms are kind of training centers, which are big collaborative environments where people might need to speak, might need to vote. This application that you see here, our microphones are integrated into the armrests of the chairs. And every user is able to pull out a microphone from the side, and once they turn on the microphone, a camera zooms into them, so no need to step out into the aisleway to get on camera to get to a microphone. But additionally, because every chair had a device, had a headphone jack, they were able to meet ADA requirements for the facility. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is Deus Chambers, and to take you the rest of the way is my colleague, Patrick.
Thank you, Marcus. So this is Deus Chambers, kind of a subset of rooms with line of sight issues. But we call them Deus Chambers because it's not just council chambers, not just city governments that require this type of an application. But this picture really gives you a good idea of what we're talking about. What you can't see in this picture is that behind this dais is the primary large screen that everybody's looking at. And at first, when they built this room, everybody had to turn around in their chair to look behind them, kind of like being in the front row of a movie theater with the screen right there. That obviously wasn't going to work, so they built this monitor on the far wall, thinking that they could view the monitor from there. Viewing documents and spreadsheets from that distance, obviously an issue. So what they get is their own personal monitor here in front of each person, and anything you throw up onto the large screen can be seen personally on the screen in front of you, creating a confidence monitor environment. Give you some examples of what that looks like. Here's the city of Irving, Texas on the left. They've got one of our flush mount microphone and voting units with their own monitor built into the table. Not everybody wants to have that commitment of that much space dug into the table. On the right-hand side, you can see the 10-inch monitor. This is what Marcus was talking about. Fits very well under that berm running along. Very common to have that raised berm on the back of the table. The microphone unit and video unit fits in there very nicely. This is the city of Washington, D.C., not the federal government, but the city of Washington, D.C. They actually have browser internet access to be able to look at webmail as well. They've got video on demand capabilities, so they don't have to only look at the video call that they might be on. They can look at other video content selectable at each station. From there, on the left, you see, and one thing I want to point out, I'm going to go back, council chambers, school boards, water districts, safety commissions, departments of energy. We're going to go on to transportation authorities. These are all names of the same exact room, right? They all use a council chamber, a Deus chamber type of room. So if you see that type of a name as one of your target customers, chances are they don't know this type of product exists, and this is a perfect fit for their needs. On the left is a basic 5-button voting desktop unit. On the right, you see our G3 with the gooseneck working on it. This is Oakland Housing Authority and Pomona, California School District. Moving on from that, again, transit authorities, employment agencies. This is Southeastern Pennsylvania Transit Authority. This room, you can kind of see it in the picture here, has 4 columns at each corner of this large table. They had so many video screens hanging on the wall, it looked like a sports bar. They were very, very pleased to clean all that up. They liked the look of these 10-inch units as they fit into the berm there. It's now a very classy looking room, and they really are happy with not only the video distribution, but the audio quality as well. So we outfit these municipal chambers, everything from the smallest municipality up to the state house level. This is the state of Virginia House of Representatives. There's 100 microphone and voting units in this room. We've customized product for them. You notice these large video displays on the wall show the individual voting results. So again, it's solutions everywhere from the smallest to the largest. And something unique that we did with the state of Virginia is that we created legislative management software for them. So it was a whole SOW written that basically said, this is what we want this functionality to do. And we were able to write that for them. It goes well beyond agenda voting, right? It goes to following a bill through each process that it goes through in the legislative process. And so if you have a relationship with one of your state houses, we would love to give them a presentation of not only the hardware solutions that we have, but this new legislative management software that we have as well. Hybrid solutions, hybrid systems. So our first discussion about hybrid solutions is that we can combine our wired and wireless solutions. This is the NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board. You see the video units up there on the dais. What's very common is for this area in front of the dais to be a big open space, a well area, if you will, and very common for people to set up, just push tables together and have ad hoc meetings there, maybe just committee level meetings where they don't really want the formality of the dais. They want to be able to have a meeting in that open space. So they can have a wired and a wireless system combined into one, working from one control unit and controlled by one system software. Nowadays, hybrid has taken on a whole new meaning. What it means now is some of us are at home and some of us are in the chamber. We are socially distancing. We're trying to regather. So what we've done is to write a white paper that basically combines 2 different system setups. One is using a tied-in conference microphone with a third-party camera system. So you press the button on the microphone, the camera pan-tilt zooms and picks up a person there. But how do we get this audio and video into a PC to be used for Zoom or Teams or GoToWebinar or Kudo or any of the cloud-based platforms? Basically, it's a very simple solution. It's just a matter of graphically seeing it, right? Marcus spoke earlier about how we do that with our own multimedia terminal. So we've basically graphically drawn that out for you as well, how all that would work, what happens when more than one microphone is live at one time, and how the system knows to go to the microphone that's actually producing audio. All of that has been graphically drawn out and is ready to be shared with you. Data. Data collection. Conference systems have always been data collection devices. Tident has an open API WebSocket interface that basically allows us to tie into multiple other databases to draw information out, to populate information in. We spoke earlier about the ability to communicate RS-232 or UDP. It is a SQL-based database, so we have an XML dump that we can give you after the meeting, all included in the system. For talking to some camera systems at a higher level, we basically communicate via TCP/IP so that you can get advanced level communication from our software via TCP/IP. We speak JSON. We've written many custom APIs. We write up a specific SOW for that for the organization if they want to have a customization done to be able to draw data and populate data. Language interpretation. So it's kind of what we do. The UN, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, etc. We won't go into a lot of detail about that now. If you find a project that requires that, it's not just the big internationals. Lions Club, Rotary International, all these people, McDonald's for God's sake, uses language interpretation. So if you come upon it, it's what we do. Give us a call. We'll be happy to tell you what you need and what you don't need and all the right questions to ask of your customer. Lastly, very unique to MediaVision is that we have a sister company that is a rental company. We rent these devices out. What does that mean to you as an integrator, and what value does it have to you as an integrator? Is that we have the ability to, when I know this never happens, but an end user drops a purchase order on there and then tells you that, oh, by the way, we need to have a meeting in that room in 2 weeks. Well, there's no way you can get your crew together that fast, nor will the equipment be delivered that fast. How do we do this? How do we get beyond it? Normally, we can provide them either with the exact product or similar product that they can rent to get through that meeting. The meeting is over, the rental equipment gets pulled out, and you get to finish your installation. The other common application, you saw Chima speak about Business Roundtable. They wanted to buy 60 microphones for their campus. They had some budgetary issues. We asked them, well, how many mics do you use on a day-to-day basis? They said 40. We said, oh, great. So buy the 40 mics, and then you can sub-rent 20 mics from us 4 times a year when you have your quarterly meeting, and that'll get you through. It's exactly what they did. 4 times a year, they rent 20 microphones, and a technician to be able to run their meetings. That is it from the MediaVision side. Again, thank you very much for attending. We'd be happy to take any questions that there might be.
Patrick, thank you very much. Thank you to MediaVision. If everyone wants to come back on, we're not seeing any activity right now in terms of questions, but as Patrick said, there'll be a follow-up to the attendees and those that were registered, and potentially we can provide the recording. So that will be coming individually from MediaVision and also MediaStar. Any of the panelists have anything to say in closing?
Just to thank you. It was great partnering with you guys. Great presentation, very educational for us as well. And wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you, Patrick, and thanks everyone at MediaVision. We appreciate all the attendees joining us. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.